Hello.
Assalamualaikum, sir.
Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Assalam. Can you guys hear me properly?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Let's start with the vocabulary test first. Okay, I just wanted to ask you guys, is it fine that we start the class at 9 p.m. from tomorrow? Or is 9:30 fine?
So 9:30 is fine.
Okay, 9:30 is fine. Okay, I would be asking you guys. It's going to be having 20 words. I would be giving you 20 words, and I would be randomly asking you guys the meanings of these words. So first one, let's start with you, Ms. Dania. What is the meaning of fallacious?
Sorry, what?
What is the meaning of fallacious?
I don't know. Can you spell it?
No, I want you guys to spell it for me. Write down the spelling. It is from lesson 18 of the vocabulary notes which I gave you on the first day, and I asked you guys to do 2 lessons every day. I'm taking a test of those words. Fallacious.
I don't know.
Erroneous, false,
Yes, erroneous, false. Now
untrue,
I'll be asking Mr. Athar Emani the meaning of another question on another word. Tell me the meaning of
Yes.
intrinsic. Intrinsic.
Sorry, sir. Repeat.
Intrinsic.
Intersect.
Intrinsic.
Sorry, sir. I don't know the meaning. Sir, just a minute. I'm coming. Wait, sir.
Mr. Ahmed Taha, you'll tell me the meaning of inundated.
no idea, sir.
Okay. Ms. Saira, you will tell me the meaning of zenith.
Sir, it's mean peak, summit.
Very good. Your turn, Ms. Dania. You will tell me the meaning of meticulously.
Disgusting.
Sorry?
To do something with
Ridiculously. Disgust.
No, meticulously. Let Ms. Dania answer it. Ms. Dania, meticulously means when you do something very carefully, when you do something with a lot of attention, when you do something
very carefully. Yes.
yes, very carefully.
Okay. Ridiculous.
Okay. Mr. Ahmed Taha, you will tell me the meaning of facet.
Sir, is it FECIT?
FACET.
No, sir.
You have to look at all the facets of the issue. Have you heard of this word? Facets. Facets are aspects of the issue. Facet means
Okay, sir.
aspect.
Features.
Okay. Let's move to the next person. Ms. Zainab Ali, you will tell me the meaning of inadvertently.
Sir, doing something not knowing unknowingly.
Yes, when you do something unknowingly. Let's see. Who's the next person? Okay, Ms. Dania, can you tell me the meaning of conscientious?
Doing something with an agreement.
Doing something with?
Agreement. Conscientiously, like
Agreement would be when you show consent. It is a bit different.
okay.
Not very different, but a bit different. Like conscientious.
Um, no, sir.
Yes, it is something when you do something with a lot of care. It is another word for meticulously. Next person, Mr. Ahmed, what is the meaning of rudimentary?
Basic, fundamental.
No, let me do it. Ms. Sarah, I appreciate you knowing the meanings, but I'm going to ask you guys one by one. Yes, Mr. Ahmed Taha, I'm going to give you another word.
Okay, sir.
She told the meaning of rudimentary, which is basic. Now tell me the meaning of sturdy.
Sir, STEADY.
Sturdy.
Oh, study. Sir, it means strong or strong, sir.
Very good.
Or yes.
Excellent. It's correct. Ms. Zainab Ali, you will tell me the meaning of simulate.
Sir, what?
Simulate. Simulate.
Simulate.
Yes.
Sir, simulate. Do something after something involved in something.
Think about it. Simulate.
So I guess related, somehow related to simulation.
Mr. Ansel, you're a bit late. I'm asking these one by one. So even if you know them, you're not allowed to give the answers. What is simulation?
Oh,
Simulate means when you copy someone, right?
Oh, sir, imitate.
yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Now I'll come to you, Mr. Ansel.
Yes, sir.
You are going to tell me the meaning of erratic.
Erratic.
You might have heard people saying erratically.
Nothing coming to my mind right now. Erratic.
What led to the accident? What led to the accident? You could say the driver was driving erratically. That means he was driving.
Unconsciously.
Yes, he was driving in a very unpredictable manner, something which was not straightforward, something which was abnormal as far as that situation is concerned. Fine.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll come back to Ms. Dania now. You are going to tell me the meaning of elude. Ms. Dania, the meaning of elude.
It's elude.
Elude. E-L-U-D-E. Elude.
Delude. Oh. I read it somewhere. I can't remember.
It is what?
Let me think. It's very hard. I'm very weak in vocabulary.
Have you heard of people saying that the couple eluded, the criminal eluded the scene? Eluded means when you run away. Okay. Next person. Mr. Rahmani, are you back? I think there was a fight going on.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
Elude can also be in the sense of avoid.
Yes. Have you heard of people saying elusive remark?
Yes, sir.
Yes. What is elusive remark?
Elusive remarks is
When you're not being straightforward, you're just trying to not answer the question.
when you're trying to be vague.
Yes, when you're trying to be vague on purpose. Have you heard of the word equivocate?
No, sir.
No.
How do you spell it?
Search it.
I only heard sir once, and that was in a movie, and I don't know what was that.
Yeah.
I heard once.
Yeah. It means when you are not telling the truth on purpose, you are just equivocating. You're being elusive. Okay. Let's go back to Miss Saira now. You will tell me the meaning of burgeoning. It is
Sorry, sir.
burgeoning. It is often said. It is often, or whatever way you pronounce it, it is often said that China has a burgeoning economy.
Burgeoning economy.
Hmm.
So can you spell it?
I'm not supposed to spell it, but still I'll do it.
Okay. Hello. Burgeoning. Okay. It is related to upper class.
That is bourgeois. That is another word that means upper middle class. But burgeoning means when you are something is growing. When
Upper
something is,
middle.
yes,
Rising.
rising. Yes, rising.
Growing.
Mr. Ahmed Taha, what is the meaning of conspicuously?
Sir, can you please repeat the word?
Conspicuously.
No, sir.
Conspicuous. Sorry?
Okay, conspicuous, sir. It's like Displayed or shown.
Can you make a sentence for me for conspicuous?
Uh, some of the words are conspicuous on the board.
Yes, or you could also say that his anger was conspicuous from his behavior, right?
Yes,
Conspicuous
sir.
means something which is easily noticeable, something which can be seen without any hardship. Okay, now I'll ask Ms. Zainab Ali to tell me the meaning of the word fear.
Sir, what?
Fear,
Pier?
fear.
Sir, Pier is the one, your same, your same group, people of the same group, Pier. Oh, Pier, yeah.
Companion.
Sorry.
I have no idea.
Has anyone read about San Francisco ever, or have they ever been to San Francisco? It's a place which is very famous. It's very popular for peers. There's a place for
So there's also one in Santa Monica Pier.
okay, yes. Pier is basically a place. I haven't been to Santa Monica, but I've been to San Francisco. It's basically a place where they are going to unload goods. It's a place where the boats are going to come. Are you getting the point? The harbor. So
Okay.
Pier 39, Pier 39 is a place which is considered to be the most beautiful one. You can see that bridge, which is very famous in every Indian movie. So I think what is that called? Golden Gate. Yeah,
Golden Gate Bridge.
yeah. So when you go to Pier 39, you can see that, and there are other restaurants and other things also.
Okay.
Now, after conducting your vocabulary test, there's something which you would now yourself acknowledge that you guys have not done the lessons. Even if you did them, you did not do them in a way that you could know the meanings of most of the words. Now, these are very simple words, and if you, I'm going to give you till Thursday to do it. But you need to also understand that if you're not going to work on them, your vocabulary building would be halted. Now I'm going to do a writing task 2 with you. Then I'm going to do a speaking task. And then the academic students can leave the class as soon as we are done with the writing and speaking task, because I'll be giving the last 25 to 30 minutes to the general training students. Tomorrow's class is going to be very important for the academic students, because I would only be covering the graphs and charts and everything related to writing task 1. Okay, let's start now. I'm going to ask one of you to tell me what type of question do you want to discuss today? Do you want to do agree, disagree? Let's ask Ms. Zainab Ali. Can you please tell me what type of question do you want to do?
Sir, agree, disagree.
Okay. And what type? Can you give me a topic?
Sir, let me think.
Mr. Answer, do you want to give me a topic?
Yes, sir. So I was wondering we should do a hybrid one, a neutral one, instead of agree disagree.
Which one?
I would second that. So there should be a hybrid topic.
Okay, guys, give me a topic.
Uh,
I'm simply going to guide you. I'm not going to tell you anything because we have already done this thing 3 times. I'm going to ask each one of you to tell me what is to be done for a PSL. Okay, give me a hybrid one, Mr. Ahmed Taha or Mr. Ansab. Give me any topic, I'll make it up.
Sir, can
Sir,
we discuss about street racing?
Sorry?
Can we discuss about street racing?
no, sir, leave it. I was thinking about immigration.
What about immigration?
For some countries say, like Canada, they say immigration is good for us, but some Western European countries say immigration is not good.
Okay.
Because the countries who need manpower, labor, they are in favor of immigration.
I'll now look at, write the topic. I got it. Okay, Mr. Ansab, is it fine? Is this what you were requiring? Most developed
Most
countries
developed.
encourage people from developing countries to immigrate to their countries. What are the
Yes, sir.
reasons for this? What are the reasons behind it? And is it a positive or a negative development? Mr. Ahmed Taha,
Yes.
fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ms. Zainab Ali, I'm going to do another question for you for agree or disagree after this one. But for now, I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes to do your brainstorming and your organization structure. Please start. 5 minutes. Okay, time is up. What are the reasons, Mr. Ansab? Can you tell me what are the reasons why developed countries want people from the developing countries to come to their countries?
Yes, sir. So one of the reasons could be their own population is aging. That's why they need people from developing countries.
Okay, reason. First reason. The first reason is
Aging
aging population. So
Yes.
talking about aging population, so you're saying that
Yes, sir.
why do they want people to immigrate then? Just because their population is aging.
No, there is another reason to expand their economy.
Okay, do you think that these two are going to be related, or what do you think?
Mm. So when their population is aging, then the older population will rely on social security and benefits, and then the government will have to put more into the government will have to use more reserves and more from treasury instead of earning, which is the younger population will work more and they will pay tax more.
Okay, so if you have a look at this thing, you're saying I think the first reason should be that they want to have people who are skilled enough so that they could contribute towards their economy. I think this would be the
Yes.
valid reason. When you're going to talk about extension, you would be saying that most people, if you look at the demographics or if you look at the age groups of all those people, you would see that they're normally um, they're having people who are elderly at a higher percentage uh, um, as compared to those who are living in the developing states. So what would happen is that when they would be encouraging young people, young diversified people who are adept at their work, they would be able to contribute towards the economy in a manner that they would have economic growth. So if they are not going to encourage people to come or younger people to come from other countries, the older population would not be able to, I would say,
Contribute
we-
as much as
yes, it would not be able to increase, or I would even say maintain the economic growth which they are currently having,
right, sir.
right? So,
Right.
saying, you're talking about the older people, like no matter how skilled they are, no matter how much they know, they cannot contribute as much as the younger people can do. And you can give an example of any country, for instance, Canada. I'll give you an example of Japan. What is happening in Japan? Have you ever seen the data of Japan? Um,
So their population is not rising; it's declining.
their population is declining for the reason that most people over there are older people. Now,
Yes, sir.
Japan is, I would say, one of the very few, perhaps the only country in which the property prices have not increased. I want you to search it after this class. Go to Google and search, like, if something was worth $20,000 in Japan in 1986, it is worth the same right now. Did you guys know it?
So I watched a documentary in which they showed the young individuals in Japan prefer work instead of relationship. So they are more workaholic now.
They're more workaholic, but they're not requiring housing. So, like younger people over there, they they don't require housing. They don't want to buy. They just take things on rent. That is the reason the prices of properties or the real estate has never risen to the extent which has happened in China or even in subcontinent. So what I'm trying to say is that when younger people when younger people come, when people from other countries come, they not only require jobs, but they also invest whatever they earn, or even if they are bringing things from their own countries, they inject it into the economy through which other industries also flourish.
Yes, sir.
right? Okay, Mr.
Right.
Um, Ansab, you are going to tell me the other reason why they encourage people from developing countries to come to their countries.
Uh, Skillful people or for talent.
Well, that is something we have already talked about. What kind of talent are you thinking?
Could be scientist.
But actually, developed countries want to develop the developing country also to run the cycle, so that they keep on developing the less developed countries too.
Okay,
Sir, can we say that they have low manpower?
that is something we just talked about.
So, okay, aging population and low manpower is the same thing.
You're talking about the economy, like you're talking about the fact that they want to uh, they want people to contribute towards the economy. Tell me other benefits.
So diversity.
Okay, what kind of diversity are we talking about?
Merging of cultures, different cultures,
People from different backgrounds.
having different ethnicities.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you're talking about diversity. Now, why do they want diversity?
To have harmony among population.
What else? Like, why do they want people from the developing countries to come and provide services or to live in their countries? Why?
So just like every human is different from another human, so every country has some specific skill and some specific culture
Basically,
that they would
Yes,
bring in.
yes,
They can be employed in cheap rates.
they can provide, they can bring part of their culture, they can bring part of their values into that country. Now, if you look at the world, it is a globalized world right now. If you are going to call someone in Canada, like if you're going to buy a server in Canada, you're going to rent a server in Canada, they would probably make you talk to a person who is of your ethnicity. They might ask you to talk to a person who is having some sort of background which is similar to yours. So what happens is that they they want they want diversity in their lives. They want diversity. For instance, if someone is going to come, they are going to first of all bring their own culture. Like if they're going to ask or if they're going to allow someone from China to come to Canada, what would happen? Those people when they'll come, they would bring some part of their culture. Perhaps they might start a Chinese restaurant, and that could be something which could be in demand. So not only that 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 kind of introduction or that kind of restaurant would contribute towards the economy. It would make people have a taste of another culture which they want to have. Sometimes people are yearning for it. Are you getting the point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ms. Dania, can you tell me another reason? It's not valid that you use all these reasons. Just think about another reason. Even two reasons are fine, but I want you to tell me the third reason. Are you there? Ms. Saira, can you tell me another benefit of what are the reasons why people from the developed countries require to
Sir, I have a question. Like, they never appreciate diversity.
sorry,
They never appreciate diversity.
they never,
Like in America, appreciate diversity.
they don't.
Do they? No, they don't. I think so. They don't appreciate
It
diversity.
is again something which you can. It is true to a certain extent, and it is also questionable. For instance, America is divided into two zones. One is called the red zone, like the red states, which are the Republican ones, and the other ones are called the uh,
Democrats.
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 Yeah, they are having the blue states. Now,
Yeah.
most people, like if you ask someone, like what kind of country is Canada, they'll say Canadians are very friendly and they are the best people. I lived there for 3 years. Now, not last year, I think in 2018 when I went to America, there was nothing different in in America and Canada. Nothing different. They were highly appreciative of the values we were having. They were not irritating people. They were not. They were always smiling. They were more like Canadian. But when we look at the media, when we look at the stuff, we are told or we are required to believe that Americans hate us and Canadians are very good people. So again, it's something which is only dependent on you. Like if you want to develop this idea, you can. If you believe that they don't like diversity, reject this idea. Now, Ms. Saira, can you give me another reason? I believe you're going to reject this one. Can you give me another reason why people from the developed areas are required? Uh,
Because, sir, they offer good opportunities for employment.
no, but why do they want them to come? That is the question.
Because they have skills and talented people.
Okay. Have you ever heard? Yes, even those people from there,
Oh, yeah.
even those people do odd jobs, but most of the odd jobs are to be done by people from the developing countries. We can
Yes, sir.
we belong to developing countries. We might say no, it is not true. Now there are two extents. One is that if you're talking about doctors, you'll see that uh, over here you can talk about diversity. You could talk about another idea, which is skills, but those are only I think 0.1 or 0.2% of the entire population. Like how many like we can say that Pakistani doctors are very intelligent. Yes, they are intelligent, but most people over there are not doing the good jobs. They're doing the odd jobs. They want people from they want people from the developing countries to come so that they could make them do the odd jobs. For instance, you find them driving Uber, you will find them driving taxi, you will find them driving other things. So you can see that it's not always the case that they want the skills, they just want them to do things which they don't want to do themselves, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now,
For ins-
so can you tell me what kind of jobs do they do, or what kind of jobs do they make us do?
Washing dishes,
Yes,
driving cars,
or
taxis,
yes. So
garbage collectors.
yes, so these are the kinds of
cleaning,
jobs they require them to do. Okay,
garbage collecting.
very good. Now let's go back to the question again, and let's discuss what are is it a positive or a negative development for the country?
So I think if they have limited resource, then it would be negative.
Let's change the question. Is it a positive or or a negative development for the developing country? So this is a bit interesting now. Is it a positive or a negative development for the developing country? That means the country which they are leaving, is it going to be a positive or a negative development for it? Now, I want you guys, I'll ask Mr. Ahmed Taha to tell me how is it going to be a positive one? It is entirely up to you whether you want to regard it as a positive one or a negative one, and how would it be a negative one? Mr. Ahmed Taha, can you tell me how would it be a positive one?
Yes, sir. In my opinion, it will be the positive one because when a person immigrate to a developed country from a developing country, then he will do some odd jobs and some kind of stuff, but he will earn more amount than he used to earn in his parent country. So when he will be needing less amount for his life, and he will send the rest of the amount to his family in his parent country. So when the amount will come into the country, it will increase the economy, and ultimately the developing country will be gone towards the development.
Okay. And what is that thing called? Remittance?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Foreign
sir.
remittance.
Now, how would it be negative, Ms. Dania? If someone is going to leave the developed country and go to the developing countries, how is it going to be a negative one?
Um, when a person leaves their parent country for developed country, from developing country towards a developed country, it may be a negative point because they have to leave their family behind, and
No, how would it be a negative development for the developing country, not for the family? How would it be a negative one for the developed country?
Uh,
okay.
sir, the population may decrease. The home of the person's home country. The
Okay.
population will
Have you guys heard of the
decrease.
Have you heard of the concept green drain?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Many brilliant people will left their country.
Yes, people who are having skills are made to leave.
Talented and highly
Policies,
educated.
yes, these immigration policies are very unfair. They don't let everyone come. They just allow people with exceptional skills to come because they want only those people to come, since they don't want anyone to just come and do nothing over there. They want all these people to contribute in one way or the other. So what happens is that these developing countries are already having, they are having population, but they are having paucity of skilled labor. Paucity means they are having very few people who are skilled enough to run the economy. So when you'll see doctors, engineers, or good managers, financial consultants, and all those people who were doing something in their own countries leave and go to that country, their own countries would not be having skillful people anymore. And that is what all these countries are doing. They just, uh, these host countries, or I would say the parent countries, train them, they nurture them, even if they're not providing them very good facilities, they are the ones who are providing them all those things. And as soon as they are in a position to in a position to give it back to the country, these these developed countries just take them out. They just eject them. They just pull them out of their own countries and provide them a better lifestyle so that they could contribute all those skills, or they could contribute from all those skills towards their developed country. Right?
So,
Yes.
so even New Zealand faced this problem back in the 80s or 90s.
Yeah. So
People left for Europe and America.
and now New Zealand is the place where people want to go. So any country and any country
Yes.
could face it. Now let's discuss one more topic. Ms. Zainab Ali, do you want to give me a topic now?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sir, we can talk about like how people are running towards money instead of happiness.
You have 5 minutes to think about the topic. The most important thing in life is money rather than happiness. Please write down your points. After 5 minutes, I'm going to ask one of you to tell me two reasons for agree and another person to tell me two reasons for disagree. Start, please. Okay, let's start. Ms. Zainab Ali, you would be telling me whether you agree or disagree with it. Try to understand. It's not about what you believe in, it's about whatever you can support. So most of the time, what people do wrong is that they tend to believe that okay, we believe happiness is more important, but as soon as they start writing something about happiness, they just run out of ideas and they don't know how to develop it properly. So let's do the brainstorming first. So which one would you do? Agree or disagree?
Sir, I will disagree.
Okay, you will disagree. Let's talk about both the views so that you all could understand. In case you even want to give a balanced view, it is fine. So if you believe that money is more important, what could be your points? And if you believe that happiness is more important, what could be your points? Okay, Ms. Zainab, why is money more important?
Sir, money is more important because one can achieve their goals, can secure their future.
One can achieve not there. One can achieve his or
One can
her
achieve.
goals.
Yes, and make life more enjoyable.
Okay. So you're saying that one would be able to fulfill his or her needs and demands through money. Okay. And you will talk about the service. Now, who would support happiness? Ms. Dania, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Can you please tell me how how happiness could be more important than money?
Hmm.
And happiness is
If
not
our basic requirements are fulfilled with little money, then I think people feel happy without money.
okay.
Money is not important
So you're saying
Yes,
that one could just fulfill his basic requirements and then spend time with his
with your family
family, his or her family,
and enjoy little moments.
enjoy little moments, and that would be something you would cherish more. Now, this is just for your personal life. Even if you're talking about your job, if you're not happy with your job, for instance, if you're
Yes, sir.
required to do something which you believe are skills which would stay with you, do you believe you would perform better than in a position where you're just being paid more for for a very short period of time, but you know that those skills are going to be of no use to you?
So to some extent, I agree with this. But if we are paid for our skills, then we do the job with more happiness, with more joyously,
And
right?
yes, so you're
If we
saying
are
that
not paid well, then we do not do the job contently. Like we do not feel any kind of
so
contentment
we
doing the
don't have
job
a
if
sense
we
of
are not paid well.
very good. So when we don't have a sense of contentment, whenever we are going to be paid less. So you would be talking about this thing over here in case you want to give two reasons for it. Like if you're doing a job and if you are being provided, you're being rewarded financially, your productivity would enhance a lot, and that is how even you would become happy, right?
Yes, sir.
yes,
So anyone who believes that if you are doing something which is of some use to you, but you're not being paid a lot, but however, you would stay with that job because you believe that in that particular job for a period of time, you would learn skills which which would give immense, I would say, um, skills and at the same time knowledge to you, which would enhance your future lives. Yes, no one believes in this one.
Sir, it mostly happens
So to
in
some
the
extent, when you are in the starting of your career, then you try to focus on learning things instead of earning money.
Very good. So uh, basically, you could say if you're starting your career, you have to first of all see where do you stay happy. So sometimes people call it passion, some people call it happiness, some people call it like their inner desire to do a particular or to pursue a particular profession. Like I know whatever you're doing right now is not the first and the last thing you would be doing in your life. You might have done 10 things before this, perhaps four or five things before it, but sometimes you start to enjoy that thing. Now, perhaps you you might be earning a lot of money. You might be earning a lot of money by doing something which is very odd or something which is not something suitable for you or your family, but you're still doing what you're doing right now because it gives you a kind of pleasure, some sort of respect or happiness to stay in that job. Are you understanding it?
yes, sir.
Yes,
So
yes.
it's entirely up to you how you want to develop those ideas. Now,
So it could be like your inner satisfaction with the job.
yes, most people, like you would see people saying that we work for 5 hours. Some people would say we work for 8 hours. Some people work for 8 or 9 hours. Some people work for 14, 15, 16, even 16 hours. Those people who are
Yes.
working for 16 hours, yes, you could say that they're very greedy, but they actually love what they're doing, or else they cannot do it. So they have a sense of, I would say, contentment in doing what they want to do. They enjoy it, and that is how they find their profession. So if you can do something for that long, that means you love that job. Now,
Yes.
when you're going to do it for so much time, you would actually get paid more, because then people would regard you to be a person who is specialized in that particular field. So people could say
Right.
that okay, you have expertise in that field just because you have spent that many hours on it, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
And you're motivated.
Yes, you're motivated also. So when you are happy with a particular job, you end up becoming specialized in that particular job. Okay, now we are going to discuss a speaking task. Describe a toy from your childhood. What was it? Who gave it to you? How did you play with it? And where is it now? Yes, last week we worked on part one and part three a lot. There are 5 people right now. I want you guys to think about this topic for a minute, and you would then be speaking for it for a minute. Start, please. I'm giving you 2 minutes to prepare for it. Okay, let's start. Let's start with Miss Dania.
Hey, sir.
Please start.
In my childhood, I used to play with a sewing machine which my father brought from China. I really used to like it as it has amazing features, like a motor in it, and it had small needles, and it was made of wood and steel. It was quite beautiful and appealing for me, and I used to make my dolls' clothes from it in my childhood, and me and my cousins used to play with it. And after that, the motor of that machine was broke, and now it is somewhere in the extra waste material inside my home gallery, which I don't think I have seen it since ages now. It was the toy I used to like in my childhood.
Okay, standing at 7.5, 7 to 7.5. Uh, you had to be a bit more, I would say, developed. You have a very good accent. You don't make any grammatical mistakes, and your ideas were also good. As far as vocabulary was concerned, it was also good. But you have to use more linking devices, and you have to use more complex. Very good. Let's move to the next person, Mr. Ansab. Your turn.
Okay.
Yes, sir. The toy I remember from my
One,
childhood was
sorry,
a
sorry,
robot.
sorry for interrupting you guys. On Wednesday, I would be conducting your speaking exams. So please tell me, I would be writing that thing over there. You just have to write down your names over there and I'll give you a time slot. It would be after 3 p.m. Okay,
So
start.
where do we have to write name?
It's in the Facebook group.
In the group? Okay.
I'll write down, tell me the time slot, and you'll just write down your names and I'll give you a time slot right after you have written down your name. Okay, please continue now.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The toy I remember from my childhood was a robotic car. It wasn't just an ordinary car. It was very special to me. That car used to transform itself into a robot, which I used to love a lot, play with my friends with all the time. And that was a gift from my father on my second birthday. The moment I saw the gift, which I wasn't really amazed at that time, but the moment it transformed into a robot, I was quite surprised and I loved it a lot. As the time passed, my love or and appreciation and affection with the toy increased over the years, and it's still in my closet, and I look at it all the time, even though I don't play with it, but it still refreshes my memory and nostalgia from my childhood.
Okay, that would be standing at 8. The only mistake you committed was even though with but other than that, your accent was amazing. Your vocabulary was also very good. You used a word like nostalgic. You used words which were right to the topic. You were not making grammatical mistakes. So it would be standing at 8. On a good day, they might even take it up to 8.5. Let's move to the next person, Mr. Ahmed Taha. Your turn now.
Yes, sir. The toy which I liked a lot in my childhood was a Beyblade. It was actually a kind of metallic high-speed top, and this can be rotated by rotating shooter and a plastic wire. Moreover, I watched these Beyblades on Beyblade cartoons on TV. Uh, on my birthday, my uncle gifted me a sort of latest Beyblade. Uh, I used to rotate it in the metallic utensils of my home. Uh, After that, my cousins also bought these Beyblades after my got inspiration from me. We used to create a battlefield, battlefield and utensils, and played leagues and tournaments in our home. We spent hours in the duels of Beyblades. Uh, After that, excuse me. After that, it broke during a duel. I'm sorry, sir, I'm having a bad throat.
Okay.
Uh, it broke during a duel. Although I loved it a lot, I had to buy a new one. Uh, after buying a new one, I like to had more, so I completed my collection and filled a basket full of Beyblades. I just love to see them and rotating them. All these are broken now, and they may be in another shape because they must have been recycled because I have thrown them in the waste basket.
Okay, it was a very well developed answer. It started off really well. I think then you were having some sore throat. So your answer was the quality of the answer was compromised for like about 15 to 20 seconds. But overall, it would be standing at 7 to 7.5. It could have gone up but it would be at 7 to 7.5. It was a very good answer. Next person, Mr. Athar Rahmani.
Yes, sir. The toy from my childhood was a plug and play games. My uncle gave it to me because he's still residing in Saudi Arabia, and on every he takes that game with himself, so we can play it. Mostly, we'll that game connected to television with cables, and it also has two joysticks and a disc. In disc, you can upload different kind of games. So we just watch the disc, what is the game in it, and we just buy that disc. Right now, it is in junkyard upward in our storeroom because now I have mobile and PC, so I mostly like to play games on mobiles and PCs.
Okay, it was very good. You were not uh, you were not following the past simple tense in some situations, like you had to say we bought buy it had to be we bought, but it was much better. It was at six. Next person, more towards six. Um, who is left?
Sir, me.
Ms. Zainab Ali, please start.
Uh, Toys leave a remarkable uh, expression on a child because they are extremely precious and memorable for children and leave and can be cherished for years. Uh, when I my in my childhood I liked Teletubbies the best, and on my fifth birthday my grandparents gifted me a set of Teletubbies. As soon as as soon as I opened them, I was really astonished as well as excited at the same time. I was really happy to see them because they were my favorite cartoons at that time. Because I still remembered how the advertisements of them were on air in my country and all over the world. So whenever I saw them on TV, I got very excited. I also have a pair of a bunch of them. So I used to imagine in my room listening them one by one at a time and playing with them and acting the same way as they used to be on TV. So it was really, it is, I still remember how excited I was when I opened my present. It is one of the, because it was one of my earliest memories. And it also, the main, I acted the most because it had also the music in it. And whenever I pushed a specific button on them, uh, and they started to sing the Teletubbies song. And even though I still have them with me, and I haven't given it to anyone else, so whenever I see them, they replenish and cherish the same memories that I have from years ago. So
Very
I
good.
really love it, and
Very good. It would be standing at 7 right now, 7 to 7.5, but it would be more towards 7 because it was much better. Like Ms. Zainab, I conducted your exam today, but it was much better than the exam which we did today. But
yes,
I would say that you have to work more on just speaking a bit slowly so that you don't have these interruptions. When you speak very quickly, perhaps you even speak Urdu very quickly. You have to stop
yes,
yourself, or else these pauses will go there and they would feel as if you are not very fluent. Okay?
okay,
Okay, very good. I want only two students to stay online. In case others want to also discuss the later part, they can. But I think it would be Ms. Dania and Mr. Ansab who have to go for the general training one, and I'm going to now discuss the letter. In case you want to leave the class,
Yes.
you can. In case you want to stay, you can. But I want two students to stay, Mr. Ansab and Ms. Dania, because that is related to their course. Okay, Okay, I'm not going to describe this task to you. I'm just going to read it so in case you're not able to understand what I have written down. Write a letter to the manager of a bank and inform him about him or her about a fee which has been wrongly charged from you. What is the issue? When and why did it happen and what actually required? I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, we are going to discuss this topic. Each one of you is going to tell me what ideas were you able to find for this topic. 5 minutes. Okay, let's start with you, Ms. Dania. Are you done? You're still doing?
So, still doing.
Okay, 2 more minutes. Sorry for interrupting. 2 more minutes. Okay. Hands up, Dania. Can you tell me what you would be talking about? Just write a letter to the manager of the bank, inform him or her about a fee which has been wrongly charged from your account.
Okay. Dear manager,
No, no, you don't have.
last week.
You don't have to. You don't have to tell me what you have written down. You just have to tell me the idea
Okay.
because you would be submitting the same letter on BDNS. Okay.
Okay. I withdrawn amount of a little amount of cash from my bank account, and I was charged for 0.3% tax, which was wrongly charged a fee from the
Mhm.
bank account. Uh, the cashier said that amount was over than the limit, but I deposited only 20,000 rupees, which was exempt from the 0.3% tax on the amount.
Okay.
So I do not understand why it happened. I asked the cashier to cross check, but he didn't listen to me and said that your amount was overly charged. So I want the manager to act on this to cross check thoroughly and tell me why
So,
it happened
is it
and
was it related
refund
to?
my money
Sorry for interrupting. Is it related to the money you deposited, or was it related to the money which you had taken out?
taken out.
Okay. So, was it overdrawn? They were saying that you have.
No, I overdrawn 20,000, but they said it will be charged 0.3% tax, which is charged on 50,000 amount.
Okay, very good. So, this is something you'll have to explain. You'll be talking about what is the issue. You would
Yes.
first of all perhaps talk about your relationship with the bank. You would talk about for how long you have been a customer over there. You would be giving your bank account number. You would be giving your complete name, and you would be talking about
Okay.
a fee of 0.3% which has been charged from your account, which is unjustified. Then you would be talking about the situation. You'll be talking about the day. Perhaps it was 18th April when you went over there and you took like 20,000 rupees from your account, and you were also given a slip or whatever the things are related to it. Now, when you look at your bank statement, you saw that zero point 0.4 or 0.5% or 0.3 was charged for that 20,000 which was taken out from your account. It is but the thing which is or the thing which disturb you is that that 0.3% is only applied on those people who are taking out at least 50,000 rupees per transaction. So that
Yes.
although that money is not a lot of money, which is 400 rupees or whatever the money is, you could call it like 0.3% of 20,000 would be like 600 rupees perhaps or 60 rupees.
Yes.
Although it is not a lot of money, I don't want the bank to be making the same mistake because I'm habitual of taking money out from my account, right? So
Okay.
you would say that I want the bank to look at all the records and to actually refund that money or to put that money back into my bank account, right?
Okay.
Any problem?
Then have to explain situation in the start as well, right?
Yes, what is the issue? If you're talking to the manager, you cannot just say to the manager like this happened. You have
Okay,
to.
the letter actually starts with this point. What is the questions given there? What is the issue, when and why did it happen? The letter will be
Yes,
started from here, okay?
yes. First
All
paragraph,
right.
second paragraph, third paragraph.
Okay, okay. I got
Got
it.
it?
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Mr. Ansab,
Yes, sir.
what ideas do you have?
So the issue, my issue is credit card international transaction fee,
Okay, what happened?
and the, uh, so when I was buying a wristwatch at JFK International Airport,
Mhm.
my bank charged extra fees for the international transaction fee. Even though my platinum card allows me, I mean, it allows me to waive off all the international transaction fees, but still the bank charged me international transaction fee, 2%
Okay,
of the amount,
so
and it reflected in my statement.
okay, you would be doing the same thing as I told Ms. Daniel. You would be talking about like you would talk about the bank. You'll be talking about your relationship with the bank. You'll be saying that I'm a platinum card holder and I am not only given access to all the lounges in different areas, but I'm also
Yes.
all the international transaction fee is waived off from my kind of account. So when and why did it happen? You would be talking about the JFK airport. You would be talking about your travel.
At the duty free shop.
Yes, you would say that when the since the credit card allowed me to have access to the business lounge, I had to travel a lot in order to reach there. Uh, but when I was coming back, I thought of buying something from the duty-free shop, which was very close to the lounge, the business lounge. Now, whatever I'm doing is now making up a story. Most platinum card
Yes, sir.
holders have access to business lounges, even if they are not traveling with the business class. So I bought gifts like, and they weren't like two or three gifts. I actually bought for 13 family members, and the amount was approximately $1,500, and the charge or
Yeah.
the amount they have charged on that transaction is a staggering. Don't make it 2%, just make it a staggering 10%, which is if in US dollars $150. Now, this is
Yes, sir.
unjustified. As soon as I looked at my mobile phone, I was actually astounded. At first, I felt as if it was a charge which had been put by the duty free shop. However, when I came back, I looked at the transaction history. I was actually surprised to find out that that fee was actually charged by the bank, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
we have to make all that story up. What actually you require? You'll say that I just want a reimbursement, or you'll say that I just want it. I just want you to put it back into my account because
Refund.
yeah, refund. It wouldn't be called refund. It would be called reimbursement.
Reimbursement.
Yeah, I want a reimbursement because it was an unjustified act by the bank. And since 2 days, I've been getting a call from the bank manager, or I don't know who the person is. Not the manager. I've been getting a bank call from
From
someone,
bank representative.
yeah, a bank's representative who is asking me to pay that international fee as soon as possible, and I don't think it is justified, right?
Right.
So I would now be going off, and I would be waiting for your letter. In case it is possible for you to do it now, you can. If it's not possible, I'll just wait for 2 3 days for you to write down a letter. Okay? Thank you.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good
Thank you.
afternoon.
Hafiz.
Yeah.